What's up, guys? This is Adam with Tabletop Vibes. I got my buddy Andrew and my buddy Jason, and today we're taking a look at Vindication. You're a guilt-ridden scumbag trying to gain honor to vindicate yourself. Let's check it out. What's up, guys? It's Adam with Tabletop Vibes. We're going to take a look at Vindication, and we just got done playing. We're going to take a retrospect look at what we think. Let's go into it. Jason, you want to start us off?
All right, so first thoughts with it. Get this out of the way.
Let's hear our first
thoughts with the game is even before the box, the rule book. I loved the rule book. It was professionally done. If other people are looking for a good example of a great rule book, I would highly recommend it. The pages were laid out, the graphics were fantastic. It was very clear and easy to read. So the other thing that I thought was great was the fact it's called Vindication. In the game, you're trying to vindicate yourself. That is your victory points. I love they made that an integral part of the game.
Yeah, they made it honor points equal victory points. One awesome thing about the rule book and the reference card is that on the reference card, it ties you back to the rule book on things like page 12, page 9, and it cuts down like flipping through the rule book a billion times.
Absolutely. And because of that, this game is super easy to learn. I sat down and learned the game in about 30 minutes. With these guys, both of them had played or at least read the rule book before. I didn't have any information coming in, and it was super easy to learn and get into the game.
Yeah, I think what's easy about the setup is super quick too. Like you just put out each of the cards, the color cards, flip one over, everybody gets a journey card, everybody gets 2 secret goals, you pick one, and like that's the setup. And like it's pretty quick. So we definitely like the initial first impressions of this game.
Absolutely.
Let's go into let's see.
Some of the upsides.
Use the plays, pros.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the pros. Jason, you want to go first?
Okay. Pros about the game. The fact that there's a lot of replay value.
There is.
I always like lots of replay value. There were a lot of different combinations of things. Especially they came out with lots of different expansions. So if you get tired of the base game, they added a lot of other expansions to really spice up the game. I really like the fact of how the board's laid out. So it's a hexagonal positioning, but you're not actually placing your character on the hexagons. You're placing it on the corresponding triangles in between, so you have 3 different options to choose from every place that you go.
Yeah, for movement. That's
so
pretty good.
That was top notch. Absolutely loved that.
Yeah, I think biggest pro for me is like Jason was saying about the expansions. There's a lot of modules inside just the base that you get. I also have the Kickstarter version, so it came with extra modules, but you can add like 3 to 4 to 5 different modules in the base game, spicing it up a little bit. And then you also have leaders and alliance, which changes the entire game too, making it more take that, I believe. So I really like that you can add modules. I'm also an expansion freak, so
yeah,
there's that.
He totally is. For me, the game, it had a lot of replayability, as Jason said, but also there's a lot of strategy that you don't see right on the surface. The game is super simple to learn, but there's so much strategy right under the surface that that's what I enjoy about games. And so
it's like the underground puzzle of like here's the actions, but like what you're really doing is like 4 to 5 moves ahead, and you're setting yourself up for the, like you were saying earlier, it's like you set yourself up with little actions to take a big
turn. Yeah,
and I feel like it feels rewarding.
There's
there's
definitely reward in like taking that one turn that does like 8 different things because you've been planning for it for 5 turns.
Yeah, I feel like even the little turns don't feel little. They're just like not as impactful, but when you get the big play, it really drives it home.
And I think it also has a nice balance between giving yourself enough options to go places, interacting with your fellow players, you know, to kind of hamper them a little bit, but there's also a lot of different ways that you can kind of deviate if you get locked in. So it gets away from that classic problem of you build up this big turn and then somebody goes somewhere and then it totally blows up.
Exactly.
So
just ruins
it. So there's so many different little alternative paths that can still get you to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, and I think one of the other great things about this game is that there's so many different ways that you could get to victory. There's so many different options that you can choose from in order to achieve the same goal, that you can play it so many times and try different ways of winning that you just hadn't even thought of before.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with that. And the other cool thing about it too is you can feel like you're like getting the game like run away, like you're losing, like someone's running away from it with it, and like, you do a couple moves and you're like right up with somebody most of the time. I will say though that the game we played, Jason completely ran away. I think you were up like 100.
Broken engine.
We had as many points as the two of us combined.
Yeah, he got the. It's just like either it came down to the right card at the right time. Andrew and I didn't do our best to steal cards when we should have, and he just like all of his engine aligned. He went from scumbag to honor student of the month. Like it was just like rolling through like every turn, gaining 6-7 honor, and so that's only one game. So.
Yeah. So, kind of going into a little bit of the downsides.
Yeah, some downsides.
So, one thing I felt is that once you get then we'll just take up the base game.
Yeah.
Because I think the expansions kind of fix some of this.
All we added for the time we played was the pets and the treachery cards. That's it.
And nobody used any pets anyway.
Yeah, we did. It was the last tile not to be drawn.
So, once you kind of figure out your honor engine, there's really not a good reason to deviate unless you get some sort of random draw that gives you even a better sequence than what you're currently doing. Right. So what I kind of found with the base game is you get your various engines going, each person gets it, and then it's just kind of whoever has the best engine, they're going to have the best outcome.
Sure.
Now again, I kind of lured to the expansions. They have boards on the outside that you could also build on that I kind of think mitigate some of that. So you're not all working towards the same best goal. You have that, but you also have alternative goals as well that I think can help offset some of that.
And it gives more player options. So like if I'm stuck with a bunch of rando attributes that I don't use because I've been focusing on this area or this area, you can then spend those attributes in Leader and Alliance, and you can move up leader powers to use those powers or to end up creating an alliance and getting way more honor, like 20, 15 honor, which could be a game changer in my opinion.
Yeah, if somebody's running away with the game like Jason was, it was a bloodbath in here. But when somebody's running away with the game, if you have the expansions in there, you can have different goals that might completely offset his, honor points that he has, because we're going for, all these points over here that he might not be able to because he's been working on his own thing.
Well, and I think that there's also like, they've played once. I've played, this is my third time playing, but I think there's a little bit more of like, we could have done more to stop Jason. So he used his conviction to take over area control aspect of the game and take like the tile, but like for 20 points. Actually, it'd be 40 points because it was like 2 for placing, 2 at the end of the game. Yeah. And we didn't really do jack to stop that. And we could have we could have been pushing you off and doing so like. I guess like there's more strategy than just like the first game. We're all just playing our own games, trying to figure out what we're going to do. But as we grow as players in this game, we can definitely be more strategic in stealing cards. That I read this card. Jason's going to make 9 honor every single turn if I don't take this.
I think that another issue possibly is that a lot of the cards, if you haven't read through what the cards are, you might not know what a good path to go down is. So I went down a path that actually wasn't that great because it didn't get me a lot of points at the end of the game. Yeah. Whereas if I had focused somewhere else, I might have gotten a ton of points at the end of the game, but I didn't even realize I could have.
Yeah, I think maybe it's going more in depth in the rules. Like I actually, until you pointed out, monsters are end game points. All the monsters are end game points for the most part. So that's like a huge thing to like tell people. And so I think again, a lot of good. And so I think a con for me, there is a decent amount of AP, analysis paralysis, for some people. You should be planning moves ahead, but we know as board gamers, we don't. And so I think for certain people, this would be like, and at the end of the game, you're going to have a little bit more of that because the turns go on. But like it could be, we play with 3 people, and if with 5, that could be kind of crazy.
Definitely, yeah.
I think it would be fun though.
So, final thoughts? Would we play it again?
For sure. I think definitely. I think next time we should definitely play with expansions and modules.
Yeah,
for
right there with you. I definitely would play this game again. It is very fun. There is a lot of strategy, and that's really what I'm looking for in board games. So I love planning out your turns and figuring out hopefully the best way to do things. And I think that having the expansions in there would really boost the amount of strategy would go way up too, because you have so many more things to focus on.
And I also think that now that we all know how to play, it's going to go way faster.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would absolutely play it again. I mean, it has everything that I like in this game. It has play value. There we go. It has a beautiful board. There we go. It has a beautiful board. It has some interaction, but not too much. It has a bit of mess up the person factor, but again, not too much. It finds a really nice balance between all the factors. I think you throw the expansions in, it really elevated the game to new heights.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's our retrospect on Vindication. If you like what you see, share, like, subscribe, and check out more retrospects. And this has been Tabletop Vibes. Check you next time.